What if I told you that the secret to achieving strong, lasting erections after 60 has been quietly inside your own body this whole time? No pills, no harsh side effects, no complicated or exhausting routines. It might sound hard to believe, but it's absolutely real. My name is Barbara O'Neill, and for more than 30 years, I've helped men rediscover their sexual confidence. Over and over again, I've seen that the human body already carries the solutions we tend to overlook, especially when it comes to restoring natural performance. Today, I'm going to share something most men have never been taught. 3 specific pressure points on your body that, when gently tapped before intimacy, can help reawaken your arousal system, boost blood flow to the penis, and support firm, reliable erections in a completely natural way. This method is simple, costs nothing, and is supported by ancient acupressure practices as well as modern scientific understanding. And yet, countless men over 60 go their entire lives without ever knowing it exists. In just a few minutes, I'll walk you step by step through these powerful points, showing you exactly where they are, how to tap them, when to use them, and why they work. You won't need any tools, just your hands and a quiet moment before intimacy. I'll also reveal a 90-second ritual I've taught to men who had nearly given up on sex altogether, and how this small shift helped restore their desire, function, and sense of self-respect. But before I show you precisely where to tap, it's important to understand why this works. Because once you understand what's happening inside your body, belief turns into trust. And trust creates real change. As we age, especially after 60, our bodies respond to arousal differently. This isn't only about testosterone or desire. It's about how your nervous system, circulation, and stress levels interact during those crucial moments before intimacy. This is where tapping becomes so powerful. By stimulating specific pressure points, you send a clear message to your body that says, "You're safe, relax, let the blood flow." It's like flipping a biological switch, from stress to arousal, from tension to readiness. Let's explore how this works on a neurological and physical level, and why tapping just 3 points may be the key to stronger erections without medication. Let's begin. First, why tapping works, the science behind pressure points and sexual response. I'll be honest with you. When I first heard about tapping as a way to support erections, I was skeptical myself. My training was rooted in Western medicine, where the instinct is to look for prescriptions, lab results, or clinical interventions. But after years of listening to patients, studying the research, and seeing undeniable results, I came to an important realization. Not every solution comes from a pharmacy. Some of the most effective answers are already within you, simply waiting to be activated. The body is naturally designed for intimacy, but with age, that internal wiring can lose efficiency. Blood flow slows, nerve sensitivity dulls, and stress begins to weigh heavier. Many men over 60 quietly assume this decline is inevitable. But it doesn't have to be, not when you understand how the nervous system operates and how to gently stimulate it. Tapping isn't just physical contact. It's communication between your brain, your nerves, and your blood vessels. Light, rhythmic pressure on targeted areas stimulates nerve endings that send signals throughout your system. These signals activate the parasympathetic nervous system, what I like to call the body's green light mode. It encourages muscles to relax, heart rate to stabilize, and blood vessels to widen. This state is essential for erections. Sexual response doesn't thrive under stress. It thrives when the body feels calm, safe, and open. Tapping creates that internal environment naturally, without side effects. I've seen men who struggled for years begin noticing changes after just a few sessions. They felt more responsive, more alive, more confident, not because hormones suddenly spiked, but because their bodies were finally allowed to function as intended. Now, let me show you the first pressure point. It's one of the most powerful areas in the body for activating pelvic energy and directing blood flow where it matters most. Most men walk around their entire lives unaware of the strength this point holds, until they learn how to activate it. Point 1 is CV6, often called the Sea of Energy, located on the lower abdomen. The first time I showed this point to a man in his early 70s, he looked at me with disbelief mixed with quiet hope. "You're telling me I just tap right here?" he asked, pointing just below his navel. "That's all?" I smiled because I've heard that same question countless times, and the answer never changes. Yes, it really can be that simple. The CV6 point sits about 2-finger widths below the belly button. In Eastern medicine, it's been used for centuries to awaken vitality and life force. Modern science now understands that this area connects directly to deep pelvic nerves and major blood vessels involved in erectile function. Gentle stimulation here helps direct circulation toward the lower abdomen and groin, releases core tension, and prepares the body for arousal. But something else happens too, something emotional. Many older men carry years of frustration, embarrassment, or self-doubt in this part of the body. When they finally connect with this point, tapping gently while breathing deeply, they often feel warmth or subtle movement, like something long dormant is stirring again. I always tell my patients not to tap mindlessly, tap with intention. Visualize blood flowing freely, imagine your body remembering its strength. Tap for about 1 minute, breathing slowly and deeply. You may notice warmth, tingling, or a gentle sensation spreading through your lower abdomen. That's the sea of energy beginning to activate. It's not forceful, it's inviting. And that invitation alone can change everything. Now, while this point awakens energy, the next point plays a different but equally important role, because even with blood flow, anxiety can shut everything down. Let me show you the next powerful point, one that restores calm and grounding before intimacy. If this is resonating with you, type the number 1 in the comments so I know you're following along. Now let's move to point 2. This is the K1 point, known as bubbling spring, located on the sole of the foot. I'll never forget a patient named George, age 68, who came to me after years of silent struggle. His main issue wasn't circulation, it was anxiety. Every time intimacy approached, his thoughts raced, his heart pounded, and his erection vanished. He told me it felt like his mind and body were disconnected. That's when I introduced him to the K1 point, and everything began to shift. Bubbling spring is found on the bottom of the foot, just beneath the ball. It may seem like an unlikely place to address sexual function, but this point directly influences grounding, calm, and nervous system balance. Many men carry constant low-level stress without realizing it. When the moment of intimacy arrives, the nervous system is already overstimulated and can't relax enough to respond. Tapping the K1 point sends a calming signal through the entire body. It tells your system to slow down, release tension, and trust the moment. When George began tapping this point each night for just 20 to 30 seconds per foot, he noticed his breathing deepen, his thoughts quiet, and his confidence gradually return. Touching the feet before intimacy grounds awareness, pulling attention away from mental chatter and back into the body. When combined with the energy awakened in the lower abdomen, it creates balance, energy rising while anxiety dissolves. But there's one final piece that completes this process. A point higher than the rest, often overlooked, that helps shift the brain from tension to desire. Let me show you where it is and why it matters. Point 3 is GV20, known as the 100 meetings point, located at the top of the head. I once worked with a man named Richard, 72, who said to me, "My body wants it, but my mind won't cooperate." His posture was steady, but his eyes revealed years of self-doubt and mental overload. For men like Richard, this point isn't optional, it's essential. GV20 sits at the crown of the head and is believed in traditional medicine to be where all energetic pathways converge. When you gently tap this point, you're not just stimulating nerves, you're shifting your entire mental state. Most older men carry far more mental noise than they realize. Worry, fear, past disappointments, all of it creates static that blocks arousal. Even when the body is ready, the mind can shut everything down. Tapping GV20 for just 20 to 30 seconds creates stillness and presence. Breathing slows. The moment feels less intimidating and more inviting. I often use this point myself during stressful days to reset and refocus. When combined with the lower points, GV20 completes the circuit, pelvic energy, grounded calm, and mental clarity working together. In intimacy, clarity transforms pressure into connection. Now imagine combining all 3 points into one smooth, intentional practice that takes only 90 seconds before intimacy. That's exactly what I'll show you next. If you're still with me, type the number 1 in the comments. Now let's bring everything together with the sequence tap method. Once you understand the power of each point, the real transformation happens when they're combined into a simple ritual. I call this the sequence tap method. It takes less than 2 minutes, but in those moments, something profound happens. You're no longer rushing or panicking. You're reconnecting with yourself. Begin by tapping below the belly button at CV6, awakening the sea of energy. Then move to the crown of the head, GV20, allowing the mind to slow and align with the body. Finally, tap the soles of the feet at K1, calming the nervous system and grounding your energy. 3 points, 3 steps, 3 opportunities to return to the strength that's always been yours. One man told me he looks forward to this ritual as much as intimacy itself. It makes me feel whole again, he said, and that's the heart of it. This isn't a trick or a performance tool, it's a way to reconnect with the part of you that never disappeared. The man who still desires, still feels, and still deserves closeness. Now let me give you a simple plan you can start tonight. Here's your action plan. Everything you've learned is already accessible. No prescriptions, no waiting rooms, no shame. Start tonight by setting aside 2 quiet minutes before bed or before intimacy. Follow the sequence tap method, CV6, GV20, K1, taking 3 slow breaths between each point. Repeat this daily for 7 days. That's it. Make it a small ritual. Pay attention not only to physical changes, but emotional ones. Confidence, presence, hope. Those are signs of real progress. Consider sharing this with your partner. Many men find that opening this door deepens connection beyond the bedroom, and if after a week you feel stronger and more alive, keep going. Your body remembers what it was made for, and so does your spirit. Before we close, there's one final truth I want you to hear. Your age does not define your desire, your strength, or your right to satisfying intimacy. Too many men over 60 believe their best days are behind them. I reject that, and you should too. You've learned that gentle tapping on 3 key points can restore balance, calm the nervous system, improve blood flow, and help intimacy feel natural again. But more than that, this is about reclaiming identity. Reclaiming the part of you that still wants connection and pleasure. I've heard the same question from hundreds of men. Is it too late? And my answer is always no. It is never too late to come back to life. You're not weaker, you're wiser. So don't leave this video focused on what you've lost. Leave focused on what you're about to regain. Your presence, your confidence, your pride. This chapter isn't over. It may just be beginning. If this message spoke to you, like the video, share it, and leave a comment below. Even typing "I'm ready" is a powerful first step. You're not alone and your story matters.